And okay, action. Oh, awesome, awesome. Hello, everyone. We have Shaka D of Chase That Coin, the popular YouTube channel, with us tonight. And I've been following his YouTube channel since late 2016, and I really appreciate his honest, down to earth, and informative content. So we're going to be sharing some amazing insights tonight or today, wherever you are. Shaka D, thank you for joining us tonight, mate. How's it going?
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was long overdue. Likewise, I've seen your channel for some time now, and I like what you're doing as well. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
It's an honor. Yeah, and it is really long overdue, man. Really long overdue. So before we get started, I know most of the people that are going to watch this video already know who you are, but just give us a quick intro into your channel and what you're doing at the moment, and then we'll get started with all the great topics.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shaka, aka Chase That Coin. I've been in cryptocurrency for 3 years now, going on 4 years. I started my YouTube channel a year after owning a Bitcoin. I got into Bitcoin around $200, 220. Um, I've been involved in cryptocurrency mining, um, involved in, early on get involved in scams that I shouldn't have given my money to people and, ICOs. And so I've been up, down, I've been all over in cryptocurrency. And I've helped a lot of people. I've learned a lot, shared a lot of my information with people so they don't have to go through a lot of that stuff. And I think we're still just getting started, especially with the recent pullback.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that goes on to the next topic perfectly. Are we entering a uptrend for altcoins? Is altcoin season just around the corner?
Um, are we entering an uptrend for altcoins? Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen right now.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay, so if we come over here and we look at the coin market cap excluding Bitcoin, all right, and we look overall, I would say that we are in a downtrend, all right, because at one point we were up to almost 400 million, all right, for the total of altcoins. Let's see. No, we were past 400 billion. We were up to 500 at one point. All right. So right now we're hovering around 200 billion. I would say that we're not in an uptrend, but we're definitely waiting on Bitcoin. And recently we've gotten some good news for Bitcoin. So we could definitely, see Bitcoin push up and then drag the rest of the market with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because at the moment, like Bitcoin seems to have, it's like the gateway for a lot of these altcoins and has the most liquidity, and probably Ethereum as well. So, I mean, a little extra little question. I mean, if more altcoins were paired against the US dollar or pound or euro, would they be able to move more independently? Do you reckon?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So altcoins being attached to Bitcoin is a good thing and a bad thing, because if even if there were a lot of USD pairs for many altcoins, um, a lot of them would suffer because, you know, a lot of them still would have low volume. They would still have the same interest, but you would just be able to buy them with your US dollar. So it would be easier for you to, get in and out of it and get your USD back. But I don't think it would help. A lot of the bigger ones, it would help as far as when Bitcoin pulls back, they would be able to probably sustain a lot more of their market caps because, it's more independent because of the fiat pairs. But as a whole, I don't think right now it would help all cryptocurrencies. But the bigger ones, it definitely would help them move a little bit more independent from Bitcoin.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. What cryptos look good for this year? What have you got your eye on there, mate?
What cryptos look good for this year? So right now, I've been tweeting out. I personally don't think that the market is gonna stay flat leading up into like the launch of Tezos or as Icon and Icon starts to bring out, a little bit more, get a little bit deeper into their roadmap, and things like the Internet of Things chain is going to launch their DAG. There's going to be a lot of different exciting things for cryptocurrencies, and we also see that governments aren't super quick to, at least right now, to put heavy regulations or unnecessary regulations on cryptocurrencies right now. So, this is a little dip. I think we're going to push a lot higher, and the next dip is going to be worse than this, because for whatever reason, people always think about selling on the way down, but when they're up in profit, they never think about selling.
Yeah.
But when they lose half of their money, then it's a thought of selling. So this is going to happen again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how many times did Bitcoin collapse like last year? It was like 5-6 times or something.
And then again, it's really not a collapse. It depends on where you got in. If you got in at 17K, it might seem like a collapse to you. But if you got in at 3K, it's not so drastic. I mean, we're right there. The critical point for me, I'm just looking for the way I trade or invest. As far as looking at technical analysis, I look for key points, and there's one point that I'm looking for, and that's 11,500. Once we break 11,500 and we close above that, and we're most likely going to pull back into it and test it. But once we break that point and we respect that point, I think we're going to push much higher. So I'm not really, as far as price action, excited about us going higher until we break that point. But there is a lot of things, as far as the fundamentals, Lightning being that much closer, and just a bunch of different things for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I agree with you. I fully agree with you, mate. That's from my limited knowledge on like trading and stuff. My calculations have shown that as well. That's like a key point.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to share share the stream.
Oh yeah. No worries, man. Yeah.
Telegram group.
It's all good, bro. Oh yeah, you got your own Telegram group. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So what's the latest with Tezos? Because I was watching Tezos a little bit earlier, later in late 2017, and I seen you like mention it in your tweets as well. Like, what's your insights on Tezos at the moment? Because they've broken a few milestones, haven't they?
Yeah, Tezos is a very, very interesting project to me. When I first got into cryptocurrency, for the first few months, it was just Bitcoin. And then I learned about other cryptocurrencies like Monero and Ethereum and different things like that. But I didn't really, the first thought that came into my mind was these are people trying to capitalize off of something that's, very innovative. So I kind of ignored it. Then Ethereum was like $1.50 or so. And then I started to look into it, and I was very excited about the idea of it. Honestly, I've seen a lot of projects, and the only ones that kind of get me really excited, like that bring back that feeling for me, is Tezos or EOS, but not so much EOS because it's just like the idea of it is like an Ethereum on steroids. So the idea of Ethereum already exists, but Tezos is a very, very interesting project to me. Yes, they do have they've had their infighting, and there are certain things I think Arthur Brightman could have did better that would have prevented a lot of this. With that being said, I think he's a very bright guy, and I think if he pulls this off, he's going to be a very big name in the blockchain space. Now, when I was going to get into Tezos ICO and EOS was around the same time. It started around the same time. So I compared the two. And in my opinion, I think there's going to be a time where at least the existing ones at that time, all the blockchains are going to be able to do hundreds of thousands of transactions. This is going to be something that they're going to figure out, right? It's going to take some time. Now, if you're the first to do it now, that's a big plus. But I think there's going to be a time not so far off in the future where that's going to be there's going to be layer 2, layer 3 things that make blockchains super fast. So I think that the focus needs to be correctness, because the biggest problem in Ethereum one of the biggest problems is scalability. But in my opinion, it's the correctness. The funds being locked up in multi-sigs because of code being stripped. faulty code. So the correctness of the code is big, and Tezos thought about that from the ground up. Now, people think that it's a competition directly between Tezos and Ethereum. That's not necessarily the case, because Tezos was built to answer the problems that Bitcoin was having. It wasn't built with Ethereum in mind, but it just so happens that they're both Turing complete. They both could do smart contracts and different things like that. But I think Arthur is really close from his recent dev updates. There's been a lot of talk of the Genesis block, and a lot of big names are very interested in Tezos. If you look at it, Olaf Carson-Wee, who was one of the first employees at Coinbase, I think the CEO of Coinbase himself commented on Tezos. A lot of really big players, Tim Draper, a lot of big players are interested in the idea of Tezos. And some of the bigger names they're interested in it, but they don't want to mention it because of their ties to other chains. And I think that's kind of a shame, but that's human nature, and that's cryptocurrency. But I am very, very bullish Tezos. And I think it's kind of under the radar. People know that they raise a lot of money, but people don't know what it's about. So when they launch, I think that they're going to be in a very good position, because the big money players are interested in the project.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting that you also brought up EOS as well, and it's like, and its relationship with Ethereum. And I was like, I've been looking at like EOS and Ethereum, and obviously a lot of like a small chunk of Ethereum's market cap is obviously tied to the EOS tokens. Now, when EOS launches its own blockchain and then has its own independent tokens, a lot of that capital on the Ethereum network could swap over to EOS's network. I mean, what do you think of that quickly? I just want to throw one in there too.
There was a big conspiracy, going around saying that, the whole idea was to collect a bunch of Ethereum and to dump it, to kind of crash Ethereum as EOS is launching. I mean, I think that's kind of bogus, because if you really think about it, they would have to accumulate a bunch of it at one time, and then they would have to dump it, possibly fluctuating the price on themselves. And I don't think it's I think it's kind of a lot of projects have a lot of Ethereum. A lot of the ICOs that are built on Ethereum, they have a bunch of Ethereum. And despite the way we look at it, yes, we look at it with value, but it's not US dollar, it's not euros. They can't like pay for computers and different things, and pay their salaries in Ethereum. So they have to cash out. So projects are cashing out. So, and that goes back to Tezos and EOS. So the way EOS is going to do it, it seems like the way that they're doing it is you hold the EOS token, projects are going to airdrop into you having the EOS token, and then they're going to get funded, whether it be through their VC or whatever. The way Tezos is going about it is that you can make a request to the network saying, hey guys, I have this idea, like I want to add ring signatures to Tezos and blah, blah, blah. And then you say, my idea is worth 10,000 Tezos. If everybody agrees, more Tezos is created, and then you airdrop your token or whatever your idea may be. Or you can do an ICO as well. So there's different ways of going about it, making it so, I want to hold the Tezos or the EOS instead of me having to trade it for DAO or digits DAO or whatever. So we're going in a new direction. EOS, the Gen 3 blockchains, and even what Bitcoin Private did the other day with Z Classic, they airdropped into Bitcoin. So we're going to go in a whole nother direction, especially with the SEC cracking down, saying, while we're on the topic of Tezos, my argument was because they're going through a lawsuit saying that they sold unregistered securities, for those of you who don't know. So my argument was, if Tezos is a security, so is every other ICO. But then again, realistically, we all know the SEC could just do it based off of timing. Like, okay, All the other ones before this time weren't, but the ones at this time, when we started to look at it, now these are securities. So that could always be the case. But with them cracking down, there's always ways around it. You can get your coin out there and it could have value just through you airdropping into people who already have the coin. So
Yeah.
a lot of things with Ethereum people are looking at them and changing the way that it's gone about, even with Cardano, with their innovations that they have with the split blockchain function and different things like that.
Yeah, I was reading about that. Yeah. It's interesting, all these new different solutions to solutions, and there's so much, like, we're still in that trial and error stage where we don't know what's going to fully prevail, but all these different solutions, at least something's going to work. But it's really interesting to see how everyone's just innovating. That's what's so amazing about this space. So
for sure, definitely.
yeah.
I mean, I personally don't think, I think just like, reality shows and different things like that are the most popular things on TV because, that drama, people are drawn towards that. So it could kind of seem like, cryptocurrency is mostly drama, but underneath that, if you really look for the important information, there's always a lot of different things going on, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So break down to us because I know you're contributing to the space and you got your own, like, trading course, right, and stuff. Break that down to us and tell us a little bit about it because it sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So for a while, I've been doing like one-on-one trading with people, and just sitting down with them for hours on end with single individuals and just teaching them the ins and out of not only just basics of trading, but how to read cryptocurrencies, different pairs to look at, how many pairs should they be trading. So I just put all that information together inside of a course. All right. And I've been doing it for a while, one-on-one in person, well, through video, but then it became overwhelming very quickly. So I put the site together, and yeah, that's live now. It's chasethatcointrading.com.
I'll put the link below.
Yeah, chasethatcointrading.com. And those of you who aren't interested in the course, there's some free stuff there for you. There's an Excel spreadsheet with live coin market cap data, pie charts. It breaks down your holdings, so
Awesome.
a portfolio.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. See, that's good. See, it's all about, like, everyone wants this space to make them so much profit, but by doing things like what you're doing, it's building the foundations for this industry to actually be less speculative and actually have real value to it. So it's really good what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, in my opinion, and I'm a cryptocurrency YouTuber as well. Like I was one of the first. I was one of the first. So, but I think cryptocurrency YouTube kind of hurts. It exaggerates the moves, simply because there's a lot of people that are just creating content just because they want to get paid per view. So it doesn't matter what they're saying, and then it's not their fault totally, because it's more so the people that are taking in the information because they're not doing their own research. And a video comes out saying the cryptocurrency market is crashing, and then everybody panic sells, exaggerating the move and making the coins dump even further than they should. And when people take big losses, other people are making big wins. So it helps and it hurts. So you have to really filter the information that you get and do your own research no matter what.
Absolutely. That's what I always say as well. Before we do some closing thoughts and stuff, there's a few questions here. So it's about, what are your thoughts on the Ledger wallet vulnerability that's been found? I don't know if have you heard about that?
Yes, I heard about that. That was found by the 15-year-old. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's from the UK actually.
Yeah, very, very smart 15-year-old. I mean, these things are gonna have bugs. I think Ellen, she joked about that. She was like, yeah, you get Bitcoins and then, they go up and they're worth millions of dollars, and you put millions of dollars on a flash drive. So these things are going to have flaws as long as the companies come out there and address them. And it's very important to split your coins into multiple wallets. Get a ledger, get a Trezor, and have a Jax wallet. Split your funds between those three. So if a vulnerability is found in Jax, all your funds aren't there, or Trezor, or split your funds up.
Yeah, definitely. That's the most important thing. Any closing thoughts before we wrap this up? This has been really good fun.
Yeah, the closing thoughts is, many people came into cryptocurrency and made a quick exit, and the people that were in for a few months already, and they saw some good times, and then it got bad. Brings up the question, is cryptocurrency dead? And my thoughts on that is definitely not. Look around, look at all the adoption that's going around. If you think, another thing I was saying to someone the other day is, of people like Warren Buffett and these really big whales, right? These markets aren't viable for them yet, as far as the volume that they want to move. So they can afford to ignore it. Why? Because 3 to 5 years later, when this is a huge market and is worth trillions of dollars, they're going to be able to inject enough money into it where they can still make huge amounts of money. All right. When cryptocurrency is mainstream, is going to be just like the stock market, where you're going to need $100,000 to make an okay profit, and at that time they're going to be able to inject a lot of money into it and still take advantage of it. So it's not liquid enough for them, so they can afford to ignore it. If you don't have hundreds of millions of dollars, and even if you do, I think you should look at it. But if you're not in that position, if you have a job, or if you have your own business, you have 100,000, 200,000 in the bank, I don't think that you can afford to ignore cryptocurrency right now, despite it going down. Even if it goes back down to $2,000, which I don't see people are calling for 2,000. It's possible, because it was $2,000 once upon a time, so it can go back there. But I just think if you're not rich, super rich, you can't afford to ignore this transfer of wealth right now. So yes, those guys are very smart in what they do, but they have a plan for it, and they're not ready to manipulate it yet, even though it's being manipulated by some of them. But they're not really to fully inject their money into it yet, because it's going to be hard for them to get their money out.
Agreed. So, yeah. That's so true. That's so true. They haven't shown their full. They haven't revealed their whole plan yet. But just to add to that quickly, I was speaking to someone today, and he went to like a business meeting, and he said to me that all they were talking about was blockchain and Bitcoin, and how blockchain is going to be used in retail. It's the hot topic. Like, even though the price has crashed by however much in the last few weeks, the actual use case and potential of blockchain technology itself is, it's still very much in people's memories, and people are very, very bullish on what it can actually do and how it can innovate. So
for sure, you can't. There's no putting this away. Even if this current cryptocurrency market dies, I would say within a year or a few months, there's going to be another cryptocurrency. It's not going to go away. The technology is here. We've yet to see where we can really fully take advantage of the technology, and it's still the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Shaka D, thank you. So I hope I said your name right. No, yes, my British accent. Yeah, English accent. But thank you so much for coming on, man. And like you said, it's just long overdue that we actually team up on here. So thank you. Your links will be below. I put your YouTube link down already. Thank you to everyone who watched as well. I really appreciate it. It's great to see everyone kind of come together and eliminate all the scammers, throw them out, and go full steam for innovation. So thank you, everyone. Subscribe to both channels, and don't get scammed.
Peace. Thank you for having me, man.
Cheers. Cool. And